Hello everyone and welcome back to Life Transformation UK. My name is Ben and today I want to talk to you a little bit about whether or not meditation is really worth it to try as a tool for your personal self-improvement. Now, when I was going to therapy a few years ago, my therapist at the time really recommended that I started trying out mindfulness meditation. Now, I dabbled with it a little bit in the past when I had been trying to go on my self-improvement journey on my own, and it wasn't very successful for me. I really found it difficult to focus my attention, and I couldn't quite get to grips with the spiritual side of it, due to me, of course, not being a particularly spiritual person, so that there were certain aspects of it that I just couldn't wrap my head around. It was only when it was explained to me that mindfulness, whilst it can be a spiritual practice, it does not necessarily have to be. It can also be a very secular practice as well. And once I could start looking at it from a more scientific perspective and really get my head around the psychology of it, I started to understand it a little bit more. I started to enjoy it a little bit more as well. But I never really kept up with it because I didn't see the massive benefits that were supposedly meant to be there. Since then, I've come to understand that meditating is very much like exercising your brain, and it means that you have to do it often. It can't be something that you dip in and out of whenever you feel the need to meditate, just like you can't just go to the gym every few weeks and expect yourself to be muscular and buff and lean. It's just not the way that it works. So it has to be a very, very regular practice. Most people recommend it to be a daily practice. So I would like to incorporate more of it into my life, but I first of all had to understand again and really, really bring myself to an understanding of what are the benefits of meditation? What does it do for you? Is it actually worth it to set aside time every single day to practice meditation? Now, before I go on, I should specify that meditation, as I said, is not an entirely spiritual practice. It can be secular, because at the end of the day, meditation is all about focusing your attention on something for a prolonged period of time, and that can be an object like a candle or a certain point in the distance. It can be a sound, it can be something that you're saying in your head, it can be a particular smell, it can be anything that you can focus your attention on. And that's what you're doing. You're training your mind to focus on what you want it to focus on, and when it goes off in different directions, recognizing that that is just something that happens, but learning that you can bring your attention back to where you want it to be. And that's one of its major benefits, is that it really trains your focus, and it gives you that ability to pay attention to the things that you want to. And that was a huge problem for me when I was younger, and even now it's a problem for me to try and keep my attention on anything for too long. I don't think that I have any kind of attention deficit disorder, but I have always found it difficult to maintain my attention on one thing. I love to be dynamic and moving from this thing to the next thing, and it's one of the main reasons why I didn't do too well on my self-improvement journey right at the beginning, because I was always reading one book and then quickly jumping to another and not quite finishing that and moving on to another, and I had all these ideas in my head, but I wasn't actually doing anything with them. So with meditation, it trains your focus on what you want to focus on. It's also highly beneficial in reducing your stress, your anxiety. You can control your anger a little bit better. All in all, it gives you a much higher level of emotional control, and I have found that to be very, very useful back when I was doing it on a slightly more regular basis. I particularly found it useful in university when I was playing in competitive badminton games, because before I would have my attention on 101 different things. Are we going to win the league? Are we going to win this match? Are we going to win this particular set, this game? Am I going to win this point? And all of that was in my mind, and through practicing meditation and mindfulness, over time I realised that it was not about any of that. It was about personally winning the moment that you were in, taking things one thing at a time. So I stopped focusing on the entire game and then the overall league and where our team was standing. I started focusing on it on a shot by shot basis. So I would see the shuttle coming towards me and my only thought was, get it back over the net for a tactical advantage. And that was all that I had to do. And I was able to focus on that a lot easier. And once I stopped focusing on everything, focused on that, it made things so much easier. It also stopped me from focusing on beating the person and instead on winning the shot. And all that, all that stress and anxiety of uncertainty, of not knowing how the game is going to pan out in the end, all that started to fade away because I started to learn how to focus my attention away from my emotions and towards the present moment, where I was able to take more decisive action and consequently win more games. Meditation is also amazing for when you are trying to get to sleep and your mind is racing, as it tends to do just before you go to bed in that really, really annoying way. Meditation allows you to focus, and I believe it's the basis of why parents used to tell their children to count sheep, because it gives them something repetitive to focus on, and through that focus it relaxes the mind, it relaxes the body, it distracts it from everything that's going on and allows it to peacefully drift off into sleep. So meditation is really, really good for that. It also winds down your brain, so your brain isn't as active when you're sleeping, and you'll be less likely to have hugely dramatic dreams or nightmares or things like that that are going to disrupt your sleep. So meditation is also highly beneficial for that. At the end of the day, there are hundreds of benefits to meditation, and I could spend an entire video just listing off all of those benefits. What I would recommend is that you decide for yourself why you want to be practicing meditation. As I've said probably 100 times on my channel, if you can find a powerful enough reason why, there is not much that can stand in the way of you taking the action to go and do that. If you want to learn more about the benefits of mindfulness and meditation, I do recommend that rather than sitting down and reading a book or watching a course on YouTube or something like that, I do recommend that you go to a meditation class. And you can find ones which are going to be more spiritual, you can find ones which are going to be more secular, whatever works for you, and just go there and really just get the experience of it, learn the skills, and find out if this is something that you want to pursue, because there are endless benefits, and it is something that I'm going to be implementing in my life a lot more now. So I definitely recommend that you check it out. I am going to be doing a video in the future about my meditation practice and the benefits it has had on my life, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel for when that video comes out a few weeks from now. But otherwise, I hope you have found this video useful. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video very soon.